These Violent Delights, Chapter 32. Message for you, Miss Lang. Kathleen rolled over, moving from one end of Juliet's neatly made bed to the other. She was the maid's worst nightmare. There were plenty of chairs for her to occupy in this house, but whenever Juliet left her room, Kathleen came wandering in to take ownership of her bed. To be fair, it was an absurdly comfortable bed. For me? Kathleen asked, waving the messenger in. This was unusual. There weren't many callers for her. It says both Lang Se-Lin and Lang Sha-Lin at the front, but I cannot find Miss Rosalind. The messenger responded, sounding out of the syllables of their names awkwardly. When he showed her the front of the note, she realized that her Chinese name, Lang Se-Lin, had been written out in its romanticized equivalent instead of its Chinese characters. It had to be Juliet. No one else would be so cryptic. Kathleen quirked a brow, extending her hand for the note. Thank you. The messenger left. Kathleen unfolded the slip of paper. I need your help. The Secretary General of the Communist Party is the monster. Meet me by his work building. Bring guns. Bring silencers. Tell no one. Oh, merde. Juliet was trying to kill the Secretary General of the Communist Party. Kathleen threw the note down and bolted off the bed, hurrying for the armory next door. They kept their weapons in this small room, with the grandfather clocks and the rotting settees in the row of cabinets that would have otherwise appeared inconsequential to the casual observer. She moved fast, tearing open the drawers and loading up 2 pistols, spinning the silencers on tightly. She checked the ammunition, clicked each loose component tightly, then shoved each weapon in her pockets. Kathleen stopped. Her ears perked suddenly, hearing sound from the other side of the wall from Juliet's room. Footsteps. Who was walking about? Prickled, Kathleen rose quietly, keeping her footsteps light as she padded out of the armory and back toward Juliet's room. With her breath held, she poked her head through the doorway and sighted a familiar figure. She relaxed. It was only Rosalind holding the note. What the hell is this? Rosalind demanded. Kathleen immediately tensed it again. I thought the words were rather self-explanatory. You can't be serious. Rosalind's eyes dropped down to Kathleen's pockets. She traces the shapes of the weapons, gaze sharpening, hollowing. You're not actually going to go, are you? Kathleen blinked. Why would I not? A moment passed. The moment would be something to mark forever. The first time Kathleen looked at Rosalind, really looked, and realized she had no clue what could possibly be going through her sister's head, and when Rosalind exploded outward, Kathleen felt the impact like a piece of debris sticking right through her gut. This is absurd, Rosalind shouted suddenly. We do not have the right to go killing secretary generals as we please. Juliet cannot pull you into this as she pleases. Rosalind, stop, Kathleen pleaded, hurrying to close the door. She is not pulling me into anything. Then what is this note? A mere suggestion? This is important. This is a matter of stopping the madness. Rosalind's lips thinned. Her volume dropped until it was not loud, but cold. Not angry, but accusatory. Here I was, thinking you were the pacifist of the family. Pacifist. Kathleen almost laughed out loud. Of all the words to describe her, pacifist could not be farther from the truth. All because she could not care for bloodshed, and suddenly she was an almighty saint. She would pull a switch to instantly end all life in this city if it meant she herself could have some peace and quiet. That is your mistake, Kathleen said evenly. That is everyone's mistake. Rosalind folded her arms. If she clutched the note in her fist any harder, she would put a hole right through the words. I suppose Juliet is the only person exempt from being a fool in your eyes. Kathleen's jaw almost dropped. Do you hear yourself right now? She asked. Perhaps she had stepped into a machine that took them back to being petulant toddlers. But Rosalind did not care to consider herself. The bitterness had risen to the surface, and now it could not cease in overflowing. Look at how casually Juliet has approached this whole madness, she hissed. Look at how she treats it like it's merely another task to impress her parents with. Stop it! Kathleen's hands closed around the hem of her shirt, scrunching her fingers into the thick fabric. You haven't been around for most of it. I saw the monster. That isn't Juliet's fault. It's not her fault that she has to treat it like her job, because it is. You don't get it, Rosalind hissed, rushing forward. She stopped right in front of Kathleen and clutched at her shoulders. Juliet will never face the consequences to anything she does. We will. We feel every goddamn part of the city when it breaks. Rosalind, Kathleen pleaded. You're really, really stressed right now. She untangled her hands from her shirt and held them out in front of her. It was both an action to keep Rosalind at a distance and to placate her sister like she would placate a feral animal. I get it. I do. But we're all on the same side. Her family name is Kai, Rosalind exclaimed. How can we be on the same side when they will never fall? They are invulnerable. We are not. Kathleen could not keep listening to this. Time was running out. The weapons in her pockets grew heavier with each passing second. She removed Rosalind's tight grip from her shoulders, unspeaking, and turned to leave. Until Rosalind said, Celia, please. Kathleen froze. She whirled around. Don't, she hissed. There are ears everywhere in this house. Don't put me in danger just to make a point. Rosalind looked away. She let out a long breath, seemed to gather herself, and whispered, I'm only looking out for you. Now is not the time to look out for me, Kathleen wanted to snap. What part of this was so hard to understand? She shook her head. She swallowed her words, forced herself to soften her tone. It's a simple matter, Rosalind. Will you help or will you not? Then Rosalind met her eyes again. Kathleen only found apathy in her sister's expression. I will not. Very well, Kathleen said. But please do not stop me. This city was teeming with monsters in every corner. She would be damned before she let her own sister stop her from putting down at least one. Kathleen walked out of the room.